In 1969, Costa Gavras had directed Z, and it made him an international figure. People know him now, and they respect him for his political messages, but at the same time, they're seeing him as controversial leftist filmmaker. So he's stereotyped as the political thriller leftist. Whereas in The Confession, Costa Gavras will now take a different approach. It would be less of a political thriller as such, because it's an agonizing process that you're going through as an audience watching this. The Confession is one of his most intense, almost asphyxiating films. It's not something that's given to you in terms of excitement. What Costa Gavras is doing is entering into the world of Kafka. It's an arrest that is not understood by Artur London. He's a good communist official. Stalin was still someone in his consciousness as a political friend. And all of a sudden, he's seen as an evil perpetrator of espionage going over to the dark side. Once you enter into that atmosphere of the Kafkaesque, you're going to be using a different style. The tone of The Confession was almost diametrically opposed to that of Z. Z was very flashy, exciting, and it had a build-up, a crescendo to the point of the assassination. In The Confession,
Avoué?
There's a slower progression.
Avoué quoi?
You understand that there is a process that Costa Gavras is bringing you through in order to show you how he calls it the gears of the machinery of the Stalinist era worked.
Cela, il est à bout.
Staline nous a enseigné que l'homme est le capital le plus précieux. Quand l'homme se noie, il faut l'aider à sortir de l'eau.
Hypocrisy is one of the key things that Costa Gavras attacks. In Z, with the government, who claims to be for the people, but it's involved in the assassination of Lambrakis. It was very contemporary. People had seen what was happening in Greece. Whereas in The Confession, it's now 20 years after the events have happened. So it's something that's more reflective. People still thought Stalin was good old Uncle Joe. Very, very few people knew about the extensiveness of the show trials. Many Americans may not have even heard about the Slánský trial. It's a call to awareness of the Soviet oppression during the Stalinist period. You have much more stylized and much more intense, complex, and layered flashbacks. It's almost as if it's human psychology at work.
Tu vas voir. Gerard va être libéré bientôt.
Il était rédacteur en chef du journal du parti. Quelques semaines plus tard, il a été arrêté à son tour. Il a avoué et il est devenu l'un des 14 accusés du centre de conspiration contre l'État, condamné et exécuté.
Stalin, up until 1953, at his death, tried to remove anybody who was seen as an enemy of the state. All the old guard, anybody who fought in the Spanish Civil War, they had Western contacts. His relationship with Noel Field showed that he could be a spy for America. He was in a concentration camp, so even though he's fighting against the fascists, many of those individuals had relations with other groups. Costa Gavras tried to explain that through what he's picturing visually. He was very precise about details, so every single thing in the frame and in the back of the frame, it's important. A picture, for example, of the Republican being shot that Robert Capa photographed. That would be important for his link with the Spanish Civil War to present a larger picture.
À chaque fois que tu t'arrêteras, on te remettra les idées en place.
Showing the images of the Soviets, that would have a repercussion in 1970, because in 1968, the Soviet invasion of Prague would still show the Soviet oppression is a present threat. When the confession came out, the reaction from the international audience was very diverse. The Communist Party felt that it was an attack on communism or socialism, and Costa Gavras tried to explain that this is an anti-Stalinist film and not an anti-communist film. It's quite different in terms of what audiences expect of a political film. So when we look at the politics of Costa Gavras, often enough he has taken a position left of center, not communist, not socialist, but humanist. So his characters are often very deep in one sense, but they're also reflective of a position, a historical moment. I think that's the gift of a Costa Gavras film.
Le tribunal d'État a entendu du 20 au 27 novembre 1952 les débats au sujet de l'affaire criminelle des dirigeants du Centre de conspiration contre l'État. Au nom de la République, sont condamnés à la peine de mort